Big game week for the Buckeyes, and we're about to break it down. Coming here soon. Dustin, we got a lot to talk about.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Obviously, let's start on. Obviously, first of all, where were you? You've done Mac Nation or Mac Action. So where were you yesterday?
First off, let's correct yourself here, my friend. It's called Maction, not whatever the variations you just tried to put on air here. But no, I was doing a little Conference USA midweek last week down in beautiful South Beach, FIU, and had the weekend off then because I did midweek and headed to Ypsilanti, Michigan this weekend for Toledo and EMU. So that's Maction, and then doing some midweek Maction next week as well.
Must be nice. You know, it must be nice being the man.
All right. No, it's not. It's not. I wish I was you, man. I wish I was 10 years younger, and I wish I was, on Big Ten Network, this big superstar.
I wouldn't say all that. But anyway, so speaking of the Big Ten,
man.
Well, let's talk about our Buckeyes. They played Nebraska last week. Obviously, you and I, our predictions was completely wrong. The game was closer than a lot of people liked. There was a ton of complaints coming out. You got guys saying that there's no energy on the sideline. You got guys saying that guys pray too much. It's you got guys saying that they're not aggressive. That the run game is completely depleted. Our left tackle's position just was not great. It's a lot to unpack here. Where do you want to start?
Oh, I mean, wherever you want. I mean, listen, this was a game. So I've got a couple takes, like a couple like headlines from this game in my mind. So we can start there if you want.
Let's go. Let's hear it.
Just because, like, I got people, and I'm sure you're the same way. Like, we're ex-Buckeyes. People want to ask us. They feel like we have expert opinions. I don't know if it's an expert opinion. I mean, we did play, and we follow the Buckeyes, rather closely. So, people are like freaking out about this game, and they're like, man, barely beat Nebraska. How are we going to win a national title? You lose to Oregon. Had we lost to Nebraska, the season would have been potentially in doubt in terms of making the playoff. But my thoughts about this Nebraska game, a couple things. Okay, Nebraska was a team picked to be a good team this year, right? I mean, they were supposed to get over the hump a little bit more. Dylan Raiola, the quarterback, was supposed to be a really good player, is a really good player. Nebraska has not been what they thought they were going to be, right? Nebraska, they lose to Illinois early in the season. Okay, primetime game Friday night. Remember watching the game. I'm like, man, how's Illinois going to win this game? Like, it's crazy. Yep. So that was a letdown. They get their doors blown off by the Hoosiers 2 weeks ago. Okay, and then they come to Ohio State. So if you put yourselves in Nebraska's shoes for a minute, your season's done. Okay, you've got really nothing to play for. You were embarrassed a week prior.
They're still trying to get bowl eligibility, which they're one win.
Dude,
away.
Come on, that's not a thing.
I'm just saying.
Okay, all right. There's your silver.
I'm going to Nebraska this week. That's where the tailgate is this week. So yeah, I'll be doing.
You're trying to be okay.
I'll be doing this song and dance.
So you get what I'm saying. Like, Nebraska is going to give you your best shot. Period. This is their season. The only thing left, other than playing for a bowl game, which if you're Nebraska, who cares? I mean, like, you're going to be playing in a game that I'm calling. Okay,
they haven't been bowl eligible since 2016. Just throw that.
Well, guess what? They'll be in Detroit this year. So and they'll be playing a MAC team, and I'll be calling the game. So that's where they're at. But I'm joking, by the way. But not about calling that game, because I've called that game twice. But in all seriousness, Nebraska was going to give you your best shot, and they did. They've got a defense that's strong. Their quarterback's whatever. And for Ohio State, you're coming off of a bye week. You lose to Oregon, so there's a lot of pressure, and there's a lot of talk, and there's a lot of people chirping in Columbus. And then on top of that, who you got the next week? Happy Valley, big noon kickoff. Like, this is a big deal. So, like, it was a trap game for Ohio State. The fact that they won the game, Ty, is like awesome, because they escaped a total trap. Nebraska easily could have stole that game, yet somehow Ohio State wins the game. So being a part of a team in 2002 that escaped narrowly many times teams that we should have killed, like by 30 points, but you win by a field goal or you go to overtime. Like, that's what happens, man. You're Ohio State. You get the best shot of whoever you play, especially the teams that are not as good as you, and you don't get challenged a lot. You really don't. So yes, there's tons of stuff to break down and talk about, like, in the game, because there's things that do concern you.
Yeah,
but overall,
like 1 for 10 on third down, like that's
totally get all those concerns. But let's not panic, because I'm telling you right now, if the Buckeyes go out this weekend and take care of business in Happy Valley, I just don't see the complaints being what they are right now. Okay, yeah,
I would call it a trap game.
You wouldn't?
It wasn't a trap game. Honestly, what it is you lose to Oregon, you go on a bye week, you lose your starting left tackle in the Oregon game. So you're on the bye week and you're trying to figure things out, because obviously, as you know, that when you're on your bye week, that's self-scouting week. You self-assess yourself, figure out what we need to do to get better. What things do we do now that people see our tendencies? We need to flip our tendencies. So coming into this Nebraska game, everybody wanted to see how the left tackle thing played out, because if you remember the Oregon game, once Josh Simmons went out, the run game completely died. Like, they didn't even really get a chance to run the ball anymore. Coming into this Nebraska game, you wanted to see if they was able to establish that run. But I think people don't realize how good Nebraska was in the run defense. I think they were ranked like 4th in the Big Ten in rush defense. So those guys know how to stop the run. Up until the Indiana game, I told you, they didn't give up a rushing touchdown. So, like I said, they got people up front. They front seven is pretty solid, and they did a good job. The Buckeyes had, like, I think both Travion and Quinshawn both had 10 rushes apiece, and neither one of them cracked 30 yards. So, like, yeah, it was bad. As far as the third down thing goes, that was alarming, because it was some of them situations where it was 3rd and short, and they still stoned you. So, to me, that I think everybody's panicking because the trench play is always what it comes back to, and our offensive line isn't imposing its will like it once used to be. Back when you played, back when I played, even earlier in this season, they were doing a really good job. Our running backs was really getting some yards. So when you don't see them do that, it's alarming. And our defense is good, don't get me wrong, but to me, it's like you went out and you get Caleb Downs, and you see Caleb Downs highlights at Alabama. He don't look like that here. And it's like, why is that? Then it was the Oregon game that had no pass rush. This past week against Nebraska, they wanted to switch things up. They did all kind of twists, stunts, sent 5. And to me, it still wasn't like, it was cool, but it still wasn't like what it's supposed to be. And I think that's the part that's frustrating as well. The only positive thing is the linebackers play is ridiculous. Sonny Styles, Cody Simon, the Arvell Reese thing was BS, but those guys are playing really well. But at the end of the day, offensively, going back to the offense, you've become a passing team. You've always known that if push come to shove, you can throw the football. And Will Howard has done a great job of showing you that he's capable of doing that in those situations. So I'm confident in that. But obviously, you got to figure the run game out at some point, because we've seen them throw the ball successfully for many seasons, and it still at the end wasn't enough to win it all. And I don't want us to revert back to that. It's crazy that one lineman can really hamper your entire run offense, and they got to figure that out. And I was listening to Chip Kelly today. I was at the radio and they was playing some sound, and he was saying, to sum it all up, he was saying, like, Nebraska's front is really good, but against Penn State, they got some things there that they want to take advantage of. So I'll be interested to see, first of all, I want to see who's playing left tackle. And secondly, I want to see if they can run the ball. Ultimately, they did what they needed to do. The most important thing was win the football game. They did that. as far as the passion on the sideline, I wasn't down there, so I don't know. What they saying is Ryan Day is the only person that's got energy on the sideline. The players don't really have enthusiasm. I don't know nothing about that. Like I said, I'm not there on game day to see it, so I can't really make a comment on that. But if that's true, then yeah, that the coach can't want it more than the players do. Like that's wrong. So they got to figure that part out.
I mean, do you feel as though that's a concern?
What did the coach want it more than the players do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would be
Elaborate.
if that was true, I'd be concerned for sure. Because
I
at
mean,
the end
do
of the
you think
day,
it's
at
true?
the end of at the, I don't I no I don't know. I don't know. When I for the vibe I've always got from them is that they was all hungry and ready to play. But if there's no way that because I think it was Zach Bourne that said it. Zach wouldn't tell no lie.
I,
Like, Zach,
I, I listen. I love Zach, and I think Zach was he on one of the podcasts, 11 Warriors or something. I'm not sure exactly which one it
oh yeah,
was.
he probably was
Maybe
on the
I don't want to.
podcast.
I don't want to discredit the podcast or the TV show that he was on when he said it.
I
But
have no
uh,
idea. I just seen it on Twitter. So yeah,
I did too. I did too. I
I
did
don't.
too.
I
But
hope I don't think Zach would lie about something like that. Again, it can be taken out of context because we're from a different generation. The way that some people get motivated is not the same for everybody. It was like a couple of years ago with the dancing when they had the dance parties before the game. A lot of older
mhm.
people was like, "Oh, I hate that. Like, why are they doing that?" And I was like, if that's how they get ready to play in the game and they effective, then go ahead. That don't bother me. So like I said, I'm gonna take that same scenario with this. I don't know what happened on the sideline. I don't know if it was dead or not, but hopefully that they respond and they come out there and that at the end of the day, like I said, they won the game. That's what I care about the most. It was because it was at a point in time where that was in doubt, and that shouldn't be the case. But like I said, you got a Nebraska team that was upset because they just got their doors blown off 56-7 the week before. So they was gonna come out there and play with everything they had.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and they did. I don't know. I mean, I just think that sometimes as fans, we're nuts. We're fanatics. It's short for fanatic, and
Yeah,
like I just don't like to panic after
I I don't.
you know.
I don't fret. It's nothing to panic about because they won the
Well,
game.
and
At the end of the
they
day,
won.
I don't care if they win every game by 1 point as long as they win the game.
Correct. Correct. That's at the end of the season, they're going to look back at wins and losses, right? And it's not like, okay, you beat Nebraska by 4 points. That's going to hold you out of the play. Like, no, man, you want a tight ball game. Am I concerned about certain things like the line on both sides? Yeah, are we concerned about the pass rush for sure. Injuries are a concern. Like there are lots of things to be concerned about. I guess the passion is one that I mean it's still October, okay? And like we've got a team, a bunch of new faces, guys coming together. You're trying to figure out like how to win tight games. When you got guys that are all coming together, new players, young players, transfers, whatever it may be, like it's going to take more time. So I actually think they're going to get better as the season goes on, assuming they can stay healthy enough at the key positions to make the run. And it begins this week. I do think a lot of those guys in that locker room have to be looking at this game and thinking this is the real test. Like this, I mean,
I mean, this is
I'm
the
not sure
final.
how much they watch. I'm not sure how much they watch of the night game on Saturday night, but like Penn State looks legit.
I mean,
Especially if
obviously,
Drew Aller plays. I mean, that's a big deal.
I just don't see him not playing. I just don't. Like
Well, if he's banged up, and he plays, then great. I hope he's off his game. Although he's a local
I did,
kid here from
that's what I'm saying. Like the thing
I
is,
live just down the road from Medina, so
so the thing is, like he from Ohio and Will Howard is from Pennsylvania, and they both,
it's
I
crazy.
think, I think they both grew up wanting to go. I think he wanted to go to Ohio State, and Will wanted to go to Penn State. So that's why I'm like, well, he's gonna play. I mean, like this is the best team he's had as far as the supporting cast thus far, and his Achilles heel has been Ohio State. So I think he wants to right that wrong. If the backup comes in, obviously he's got a little more mobility, but I just don't think he will miss this game. Him being one of the better quarterbacks in the Big Ten, they're going to need him to make those throws. And like I say, now that you got arguably one of the best tight ends in the country with Tyler Warren, that dude is a mismatch. I'll be interested to see how Ohio State handles him on defense. Because if I was playing, I would have told my coach, I want that assignment, coach. Wherever he go, I got him all day long. That's what I would have did. But anyways, what is the O-line to you the biggest concern in this game? Like, do you think that's what it is, or are you more concerned
looking back or looking ahead to Penn State?
Looking ahead to Penn State, what's your biggest concern?
I mean, I guess my biggest concern is like, why aren't we having more explosive plays on offense? Like, why are we? I don't know. Like, it just seemed like we stalled too often.
You think? You think?
Well, obviously,
because they kept
one of 10.
I truly think that they were gung ho on trying to run the ball. Like, I really think, because you got a new left tackle in there, so you want to establish, like, it don't matter when, we can still get it done, and it wasn't. And Zen, I tell you what, they really didn't do a lot to help him in that situation. It wasn't like he was good enough, but like he was struggling. And Ryan Day said he was going to leave him in because he didn't want to take his confidence from him and pull him out the game. And he wanted to see him, correct it and get back in there. So it's interesting. I know when they had to have it, Donovan Jackson went out there to left tackle. I'll be interested to see what happens, because Ryan Day's already said that, if Zen is healthy, pretty much Zen's going to play. But the thing is that they got Abdul Carter over there, who's like, he's slotted like a top 15, top 20 pick in this year's draft. So they're going to have to help him. That's all I'm saying is, unless he just was nervous, first game jitters, they're going to have to help him. And that's taken away from what you want to do offensively too.
Well, I mean, the other thing too is, like, hopefully Ransom comes back this week. It sounds like he's going to be practicing. And you saw the secondary tested a little bit last week. Thank God the targeting call got overturned. That's big. Yeah. That Arvell Reese doesn't have to miss the first half of this game. Man, that was a tight call, by the way. Like, I saw it. I'm like, I don't know. Did you think it was or wasn't?
I mean, I don't know what you want him to do. That's the thing. Like when he launched himself, like, it was the right angle, but the guy's dropping down. So, like, I don't know what you want him to do. Like, how is he supposed to avoid that? Like, he's going to make the tackle, and if the guy bends down and curls up, and he just so happened to hit him in his head because he bent down, like, I don't know what you're supposed to do with that. So I didn't like that, but like by definition, it is targeting because he made contact to the head.
You launched, and that's, there's indicators, and that's one of them. I don't love the rule, but it is a rule. I'm surprised they overturned it and are allowing him to play, but I'm grateful. I'm happy about that.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna need them with those two running backs that they got. I mean, obviously everybody talks about Travion and Quinshawn, but Katron Allen and Nick Singleton they're pretty good as well. They both do well in the passing game. Katron Allen actually was the one who put the dagger in Wisconsin last week with a nice little crease that he took to the house. So our linebackers and our front seven will be tested. It was this thing that came out also this week. One of the big things is about the rotation on the D line, and I'm pretty sure Ryan Day wants to tighten it up. And then they asked Jim Knowles about it, and Jim Knowles was like, I just let Larry Johnson do what he wants to do. I trust Larry. And everybody's like, wait a minute, is they all not on the same page? So it's the fans is really, really trying to critique this whole thing. And it's the only way to make all this stuff go away is they have to go out and play a great game Saturday. Like, that's because now you questioning the defense, who's calling the defense, is Larry and Jim Knowles on the same page? Like it's a mess, man. I've been sitting here listening to this stuff. It's a mess. Oh man.
Well, this happens, man, when coaches feel pressure, and it's been a few years now, man,
Well,
where
both
the
of these
pressure's.
coaches got the same pressure this game.
No, I understand that. I don't know, man. It does seem like there's some sort of internal. I hate to say, like, I don't know, they're butting heads or something, but like when you're trying so hard to produce these results, I do think that there's so many, like, it's hard not to point fingers and want to feel like, hey, I've got an idea or whatever. It's just, I don't know, man. It's a tough spot to be in because there's a no win for Ryan Day. The only win for Ryan Day is to win every game. Period.
I mean,
that is a tough amount of pressure to deal with. Because you're dealing with it, especially this day and age with these kids, having money and, like transfer. There's just so much that I think it's one of the most challenging coaching jobs ever at all sports right now, coaching college football.
So you would, if they offered you a gig, you wouldn't take it?
I didn't say I wouldn't take it. It depends where it is. It would depend how much money. Because I got a pretty good life right now.
Let me ask you, just $6 million a year.
$6 million a year?
Mm-hmm.
Where do I sign up? I'd go out there and be the shittiest coach in America for $6 million a year.
But you wouldn't want to do that. You wouldn't be okay with that psychologically. Like I didn't care if I was the worst coach. Like you wouldn't do that.
I would try my best, and I'd put in the time and effort. But if it just didn't work out, I would be like Coach O. I'd say, which doors you like me to leave, and what time
you want me out of? What time you want me to go?
Go Tigers! Go Tigers!
Anyways, but the thing about the coaching thing about that, you say it's internal thing, but why wouldn't that have been something that he addressed before the season started? Like, why, if you felt, that's the thing. And like, if you feel like somebody's not doing their job, or you feel like you gotta be over their shoulder to make sure they doing their job, why do they have the job?
Look, Tyvis, you're asking. I think it's a rhetorical question because I don't have an answer to that.
No, because I'm trying to figure out, like, if he's stressed out and he's like feels like he's got to be in that room, like why is it that why would they, if you feel like that guy's not getting it done, then why is he still there? That's kind of the question. But that, I guess that's a question for him.
You gonna fire a guy like mid-season? You gonna fire a guy before the year?
No, the barn's the hay's in the barn now. It's too late for that. You gotta wait for the season to be over. But going into the season, you understood the assignment. You understood everything that was going on. So like, you got to dot your I's and cross your T's too. Like, come on, like that's the whole thing there. Anyway,
can we talk about the praying? Can we talk about the people bitching about the praying?
Yeah. All right. All right. So now, basically, what's going on is after the game was over, after every game we've seen Carmen, Ohio, right?
Yeah.
So after the game was over, everybody was lining up to do Carmen, Ohio, but some guys didn't go because they did a prayer circle, at the 50-yard line, and they said a prayer, and a lot of people had some pushback on that. And basically, what they're getting at is they're saying that this team is very religious, which they out of line for saying this, but they saying like this team is too religious. Like
people think that just because you're religious, you're soft.
Yeah, like they saying like
so
guys.
Ridiculous.
They said like guys in the SEC is putting like curse words and stuff on their black eye. They eye black, and we putting scriptures. Like, so I personally, when I heard that, I said, y'all, you tripping? Like, I don't think that correlates. I get what you're trying to say, like, because they seem like good people, like they not aggressive football players. Like, I get that part of it, but that's not the case. Like, I don't think that's the case at all. Just because somebody's religious and lives a good life and does the right thing doesn't necessarily make them not a good football player. So that was blasphemy to me personally. But
Yeah,
like I said, I get
love
what they
that.
was trying to say, but like, don't use the religion as it. Like, if you think they soft, just say they soft, but don't say because they religious and do prayer circles and they hold baptisms and things like that. Like, they're not. They're soft
Okay,
like
we
that.
won the title in '02, and we were as tight of a faith-based team as I've ever been a part of. You know, I actually applaud the players. I mean, again, I align with what they're doing, so that's my opinion is certainly probably a little biased, but
Mhm.
I'm a big believer in prayer and the fact
I
that
do.
the
I do
guys
too.
pray after games. I did the same thing. I don't know if the timing got off with Carmen, Ohio, because like a lot of times you do the prayer like faster, so
Mhm.
you have time to get down there. But if that's the case, and the guys want to get the prayer in because you want to pray with your opponents, like I think that's something that's great sportsmanship, and it's what you should do. Uh, well, or if you want to do it, you don't have to do it.
Yeah.
But I did. I participated in that. W- Just move back, like let them finish their prayer, and then we'll start Carmen, Ohio. How's that a difficult deal? I mean,
I
I
don't
don't, I
know.
don't, I don't, I don't think because the guys were praying, it's why we almost lost the game. Or I don't think because the guys are praying that they don't want to be a part of Carmen, Ohio. It's just that logistically they ran into each other. The timing of it, has it happened before? I don't know. I've never heard anybody bitch about a post game
I
prayer
haven't.
before.
It was new, but you know
That's a
the thing.
first.
This is the pro. This is why. This is why being at Ohio State is so critical. It's so hard because if you are here, and I get it. The standard is the standard, and it ain't changing. I get that. But like, if you go out there and have a game like that, they literally magnifying glass
Mhm.
everything to why they feel like the team isn't dominating when they supposed to. No matter what it is, they're going to find something and be like, that's the reason right there. And what I hate about it is people wait until things go south to try to like bring it up. Like, oh, see, they've been doing this the whole time, blah blah blah. Like, it was like the dancing thing. They went
Yeah.
out there and won 11 games, dancing every game. They lose the one last game. Oh, it's because they sitting there dancing like that. Like, come on, man. Like, y'all. So it's wild. It is wild. Like I said, to me personally, we live in a day and age where social media is just you can't avoid it as a player, as a coach. You're gonna hear it. You're gonna read about it, whatever it is. I hope this team comes out and dominates because James Franklin hasn't been good against top five opponents. I don't think Ohio State has been good against top five opponents. So
They've
both
not,
teams,
but they've been pretty good against Penn State over the
yeah,
years.
both teams have a lot to prove in this, and potentially the Big Ten championship is on the line for both teams. As far as they rode to the Big Ten championship,
Mhm.
obviously if Ohio State lose, that's two losses. They're not going. Penn State lose. If the tiebreaker is you lost to Ohio State, then Ohio State will go. So they control their own destiny. Penn State does. Both teams kind of do. And I think that that's big. So I think both teams will come out and play as hard as they possibly can. If you ain't amped up to play at Happy Valley, I know it's not a night game. I know it's a noon game, but with all that's on the line, if you can't show up and dominate and do your job for that, you in the wrong sport. And I'm gonna tell you that right now. So I expect to see the Buckeyes win this game, just off of a pure talent standpoint. I think it's gonna be a lot close. It's gonna be a bunch of adversity being faced, but at the end of the day, I think Will Howard and those wide receivers figure something out and they pull it out in the end. I think it's a close game now.
Yeah, it'll be close. I mean, they play good defense. I think the quarterback situation for them is going to matter, and we'll find that out maybe just on game day. I'm not sure exactly when they'll announce if he's going to play or not. I think he'll play. Being an Ohio kid, how do you not play in a game like this? At least give it a go.
Let me give you the spread, right? It's currently today,
I saw
Ohio
5, right?
is 3.5.
Oh, it dropped then. Okay, yeah, it opened around 5 earlier in the week. So, yeah, man, I guess it depends which team shows up. I mean, can the offensive explosion that we had from the Oregon game show up in this game? Can we be a little bit more disciplined on defense? Can we make some better calls? Can we tackle a little bit better? Fix some of those MAs, missed assignments? Because if you do that, I mean, like we watched the Oregon game, Ohio State a million times more talented. than Oregon. Maybe not a million, but I think more talented.
Not a million, but yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, there's being facetious there a little bit, but I do think they're a more talented team, and they were on the road, and they still should have won the game, in my opinion. I hate to, be that guy, but I do think we're better than Oregon. I think we're a lot better than Penn State. I do. And if we can just find a way to not beat ourselves, then we'll be fine. We'll cover the spread. All the boosters will be happy. They'll have the extra, cash in their pockets this weekend. And, the players will be happy. The noise will calm down for a little while. And then you go into November, buddy. And the month of November is for the contenders.
Champions, man. It's a championship thing. Like I said, when I look at Penn State, I think their weakness defensively is the corners, which matches up perfectly with us. So as long as our wide receivers ready to go and Will Howard's playing really good, which I think he's got to calm himself down because there's going to be a lot of adrenaline rushing because of the fact that he's from there and he wants to prove them wrong and all those things. So he's got to calm himself down and just play a mistake-free game. You play a mistake-free game, I don't think they can touch you. I really don't.
Nope. Be better on third down, too.
I mean, well, that's a given. All right, my official score prediction. I'm going Buckeyes win 28-17.
It's a great score. I'm going to say 31-24.
I like
But they cover the spread. I
like that. Well, I guess we'll find out. Make sure y'all leave y'all comments below. If y'all got anything y'all want to say, leave it in the comment in the chat. Until next week, we'll see y'all when the Buckeyes win next week. And happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween to everybody. Peace.